Coming up on the October 30th edition of Sports Xtra. Guess who's back again. It's the champs. Got the win.
It was Kane and suffering for the Heels in Keenan on homecoming.
And the women's soccer team said, let's get this tournament started. Chop, chop. All that and so much more. Sports Xtra starts right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Xtra.
Even though there were hurricanes in the area, it was still a beautiful homecoming weekend. Welcome to Sports Xtra. I'm Peyton Walker.
And I'm Abby Presley. But before we get to football, it was finally some time to watch some basketball in Chapel Hill once again. The champs are here. That's right, the men's basketball team finally returned to the court Friday for an exhibition game against a scrappy Barton College squad. But the champs got off to a sloppy start. The Tar Heels committed 14 turnovers in the game, with 11 of them coming in the second half. Carolina certainly missed the NCAA tournament MOP, Joel Berry, who will miss about 4 weeks of the season due to a hand injury. In Berry's absence, freshman Jalik Felton played 22 minutes and finished with just 7 assists and 1 turnover. Junior Luke May led the Heels. He went 7 for 8 from the field, finishing with 18 points and 11 rebounds. It was the first game action we've seen since the Heels left Phoenix, and basketball analyst Michael Coe was there to take it all in. Michael, what stuck out to you on Friday?
Abby, I know it was just an exhibition game, but I can't say I was overly impressed with this team's performance. Simply put, they need Joel Berry. In Berry's absence, sophomore 7th Woods got the start. With Woods and freshman Jalik Felton running the point, the offense looked pretty ragged on Friday. The offense might have been affected the most. The Heels shot only 3 for 15 from beyond the arc. That's 20% for you math majors out there. Without Berry last year, the Heels endured uncomfortably close games against Davidson and Tennessee. So without his leadership again the first part of this season, it will be interesting to see how things shake out against Northern Iowa. That game against the Panthers is still 2 weeks away, but that doesn't mean we can't speculate about the starting lineup. Let's take a look. In the front court, Luke May is the obvious choice at the 4, but who among the young bigs will get the start at center? Garrison Brooks started against Barton and netted 13 points, but big Brandon Huffman was also impressive with 5 blocks in the second half. I think 7th Woods will once again start at the point, with Theo Pinson at the 2 and Cameron Johnson at the 3. And despite the lackluster performance against Barton, fans are happy to see the Heels back on the Smith Center floor. Abby?
That's basketball analyst Michael Coe in studio. Thanks, Michael.
Getting back to the gridiron, Miami, the number 8 team in the country, came into Chapel Hill on Saturday with hopes of blowing away the Heels. The Heels were ahead 6-0 early. Miami responded with 2 huge pass plays of 50-plus yards and added a field goal to go on top 17-6. Larry Fedora reached into his Santa Claus-sized bag of tricks and pulled out this Anthony Ratliff-Williams touchdown pass to Bo Corrales. Miami expanded the lead with a touchdown to put the Canes up 24-13. But Bo said, "Not so fast, my friend," as he snags this 9-yard touchdown pass from Nathan Elliott. Bo, yeah! And after a Miami fumble, Carolina got the ball down 5 points with 3 minutes left, but Jordan Brown fumbled the ball to seal the game for the Hurricanes. Miami prevails 24-19. The football team takes another L, and we have football analyst Paul Bean here in studio to talk about it. Now, Paul, I understand that you feel great about the team after this game.
I do, Peyton. I no longer think the Heels will finish the year 1-11, and I think the offense might have found a new star. The offense seemed to be on life support after an anemic effort against Virginia Tech. But on Saturday, a little-known freshman from Georgetown, Texas, gave the offense a much-needed breath of air. Wide receiver Bo Corrales was a 3-star recruit coming into Chapel Hill, but my dude balled out like a 5-star recruit on Saturday. Corrales had 4 catches for 64 yards, including this one. He boxes out the DB and high points the ball. Or as all-time great wide receiver Randy Moss would say, "Hey Miami, you got mossed." Corrales also had 2 touchdown catches, including this one where he catches it, hits the defender with a little shimmy shake, and dives over the goal line. Expect Corrales to continue seeing the field for the Heels because, as Moss would say, Corrales is straight cash, homie. Corrales was great on Saturday, and one of his TDs came off one of the many trick plays the Tar Heels ran against Miami. Normally, I'd be upset by the number of gadget plays Carolina used in this game, but with a depleted team and a lost season, Larry Fedora seems to have adopted a nothing-to-lose attitude, and I love it. We'll start with the Corrales touchdown. You'll see Nathan Elliott throw a backward pass to Anthony Ratliff-Williams, who finds Corrales, who mossed another Miami DB, and shows a little disrespect to the U. That worked wonderfully right there, but then the Heels tried an ARW pass to Nathan Elliott later in the game, and, well, Elliott ate a huge hit for his troubles. Some of the plays worked and some didn't, but the point is Fedora is trying to maximize the talents of the players he has left, and that's a great thing. That game was a lot of fun to watch, but what no fan wants to see is bad officiating affect the game. And a couple of calls went against the Heels that had serious consequences. We'll start with that hit on Nathan Elliott. In this situation, Elliott is a receiver, so he doesn't have QB protections. But the Miami DB takes 2 good steps and then launches himself into Elliott. This should qualify as a hit on a defenseless receiver, which would have put the Heels in the red zone. The other call I have an issue with was the pass interference call that negated a UNC interception. There are 2 factors to consider here. Was the ball tipped, and was that ball catchable? It's really hard to tell from the video if the ball was tipped at the line, but the ball was severely underthrown and therefore should have been ruled uncatchable. The call took away a UNC possession that would have started just outside the red zone.
All right, well, some bad luck for the Heels, a common theme this season. But what should Tar Heels expect for the rest of the season?
Well, mercifully, the Heels have a bye this week, so they're hoping not to have any more big injuries this week. And linebacker Andre Smith tweeted out that the Heels would win out the rest of the season. I'm not quite ready to hop on that bandwagon just yet, but don't be surprised if the team finishes the season strong.
Well, I'm sure fans miss singing Carolina victory after a football game.
For sure.
That's football analyst Paul Beam live in studio. Thanks, Paul.
Speaking of that Heels defense, KJ Sales want his job on the team to be more than locking up wide receivers. Luke Buxton has the story.
Because of a rough start to the season, the energy is low in Chapel Hill. Sophomore cornerback KJ Sales sees his role as helping to address that.
I see my role as a positive energy guy, a guy that's going to bring energy, and that's very positive throughout the team. I feel like those boys feed off of me, so if I bring the energy, they're going to come with it too.
Sales not only wants to keep his teammates focused, he also wants to play at a higher level. He has set personal goals for these final games.
Personal goals I have for myself is to keep getting better each and every week. Little things like footwork, getting bigger while I can. Also, my goal is to get 2 picks at the end of the season. So that's a big goal I have for myself right now.
For Sales, it's also about living up to the standard of playing defensive back at North Carolina. The UNC defensive back group, nicknamed the Rude Boys by Dre Bly, have set high expectations for their level of play throughout the years.
It's a swagger, man. We rude. When we on the field, we rude boys. There's nothing nice about it.
Fellow teammate, defensive back, and Rude Boy MJ Stewart believes that other than making plays on the field, Sales plays an important role in getting their group hype and ready during practices and games.
Somebody like that, it's just like, it's kind of that's kind of what I am, but he take it to another level, you know what I mean? I got that swag, that trash talk, but he's on another level with it. And just to see and play with somebody like that just get me even more hype and be like, okay, yeah, he balling, so it's my time to ball too.
No matter the score, result, or record, one thing is certain. KJ Sales will keep balling. I'm Luke Buxton, reporting.
Sales' next chance to ball out will be on November 9th against Pitt when the Heels play under Thursday Night Lights.
If you're still watching the team this year, you've probably noticed a little different swagger, maybe in the players' attitudes and definitely in their gear. Cam Newworth shows us how the switch to the Jordan brand is affecting the future of the football team.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Carolina!
Finally out from under the cloud that was the NCAA academic scandal, Carolina football is ready to move forward. And the quickest way to get that done is to start by landing some big-time recruits. Director of Player Personnel John Mark Hamilton explains just how the Heels are marketing to these high school kids.
When you think of the greatest athlete of any era generation, you think of Michael Jordan. What we're trying to do is help kids tie in the fact that if you come to the University of North Carolina, that you can take flight literally in every area of your life, whether that's academically, socially, professionally once you leave here, and then also while you're even here on the football field, that this is a place where you can take your entire life to the next level.
And just how has that recruitment process changed? Hamilton says the Jumpman logo is at the center of it all.
It's a brand of who we are, and we're really selling the fact that right here in North Carolina, the state is the origin of flight, but that at this institution is the origin of flight. I mean, there's not many people that can say that the owner of the company is a graduate from here. He's back at games, you know, he's all those types of things. You know, we caught some flack the first week on Twitter of other schools being like, that's a basketball guy on a helmet, but you know, those are also schools that don't have him on a helmet. You know what I mean? So you can spin it either way, and our guys love it. Our kids love it. I think it's unique, and that's, you know, you asked what's unique about it. That's what's unique.
And while the switch to Jordan gives promise for the future, fans are still hoping this year's team will be able to get off the ground too. In Chapel Hill, I'm Camden Neuwirth reporting.
We're still waiting for an appearance by His Airness this season, and there's only one home game left. And when Sports Xtra returns,
the women's soccer team proved that goals are always better than Knowles.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The men's soccer team looked to keep up its momentum during the weekend, and the Heels had the Fighting Irish kicking and screaming. It was senior night in Cary for the Heels, and boy, did they let Notre Dame know it. Cam Lindley took a hack from the corner straight to Jelani Peters with a flick of the head and goal. Peters says, "Thank you, sir." In the second half, Peters returned the favor with a dish to Lindley's shot and goal. Heels up 2-0. Finally, a nasty shot from outside the 18 from Allen Wynn, just to remind everyone it's his senior night, capping off a 3-0 Carolina victory.
The third-ranked women's soccer team finished off a great regular season at home Thursday night against, you guessed it, Notre Dame. It was senior night in Cary, and what a game it was. Notre Dame got on the scoreboard first with this strike in the 58th minute. The Fighting Irish defense looked impenetrable for most of the game, but in the waning moments of the match, the Tar Heels had one more chance to save this game. Jesse Scarpa rushed to take the corner and sent it deep in the box. Watch Bridget Andrzejewski come flying in to equalize with just 16 seconds left in regulation. Joanna Boyles almost grabbed the win in OT, but just look at that save. The Heels and the Fighting Irish finish in a 1-1 draw. UNC finishes undefeated in ACC play, but second in the conference behind Duke. Blue faced Burgundy on Sunday as the team began its quest for an ACC tournament title, taking on Florida State in the quarterfinals. The Heels jumped to an early 1-0 lead after this follow-up by sophomore Zoe Redeye. The game went back and forth until Bridget Andrzejewski drew a penalty inside of the 18. Taylor Otto took the penalty shot, and boom, the Heels were up 2-0. Florida State didn't give up, though, and with about 38 minutes left in the second half, scored a goal to put them within the reach. But the Heels were just too strong and prevented the comeback. Heels win 2-1. The Tar Heels will face NC State on Friday in the semis. If Carolina can pull out that game, it will face the winner of Duke and Virginia in the ACC Championship on Sunday. All matches are in Charleston, South Carolina.
If you've watched Sports Xtra in the past, you probably remember Kelly Glendenning. The UNC alum now works as a sports broadcaster, but that's not all. Colleen Brown has more.
Kelly Glendenning, former journalism student at UNC, broadcast reporter for the North Carolina Football Club, and pageant queen?
I grew up a dancer, and so I also was a soccer player, and it came to a point in my life where I had to choose between the two. And I chose soccer, but then I discovered that pageants were a way that I could compete in talent in the pageant portion, and then I could also just continue my love for soccer. So it was a great way to balance both of them.
Glendenning does video broadcasting, sideline reporting, and handles social media for NCFC. It's a full-time job that seems a world away from pageantry.
They help one another, and so when I'm at work, I'm working on public speaking skills, I'm working on communicating with people, and then when I'm on the pageant stage, I bring in my sports broadcast knowledge, and I really can be on stage and put my best foot forward there as well.
This dedication is something that NCFC players can relate to.
I just thought it was super cool, and just seeing somebody that's pursuing their profession that's like at a high level and similar to an athlete.
The best part of this former Tar Heels work was sports and pageants, inspiring others.
And I love to be that person that a younger girl can look at and aspire to be like. And I think that there needs to be more positive role models in this world. And women's athletes are, of course, phenomenal people to look up to. And so I hope that people can see that in pageant women as well.
Kelly Glendenning, representing pageant women and professional athletes alike. In Cary, I'm Colleen Brown reporting.
With the Courage making a name for themselves in the NWSL, it looks like the sky's the limit for Glendenning's career.
The volleyball team spent the weekend in the Sunshine State, and it seemed like the Heels took the road trip as a vacation. On Friday, they squared off against FSU, and it was not pretty. The Noles got off to a blazing start thanks to bad defense from UNC, and it wasn't until set 2 that Taylor Leith found her groove. But FSU adjusted and shut her down. Carolina kept it close, but couldn't put all the pieces together. FSU took set 2 with this massive kill, and UNC wouldn't go quietly though, and was 1 point away from forcing a fourth set, but it was not meant to be. Noles win 3-0. Sunday's match against Miami wasn't much different. Once again, a lack of offense and poor passing told the story, and Miami showed UNC who was boss. Miami's 46 kills outshadowed Carolina's 28 digs, and the Canes cruised to a 3-0 win. UNC has dropped 3 straight matches and 9 consecutive sets in ACC play. And when Sports Xtra returns,
Liberty gave its best shot, but ultimately flamed out in the rain against the Tar Heels.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes, but with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us young.
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday. And I love tacos.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
The men's golf team looked to gain momentum at the Grandover Resort Invitational after the Heels landed inside of the top 25 at number 21 in the nation. The 10-team tournament hosted ACC foes Virginia Tech, Duke, and NC State along with the Tar Heels. UNC had a 4-stroke lead going into the final 18 holes on Sunday, but a 5-over on Sunday sent them to a second-place finish behind Northwestern, with shot 2 under on the day to win the tournament.
With the ACC tournament quickly approaching, the number 6 UNC field hockey team closed out the regular season by visiting the Liberty Flames on Sunday afternoon. It was a cold and rainy day in Lynchburg, but the Tar Heels came to play. They were off to a sizzling start. Malene Everett was the star of the show, scoring a career-high 4 goals. Her performance set the pace for the Tar Heels, who had an early 4-0 cushion. But Liberty still had some fight. Ajita Maroney's goal off a penalty corner in the 52nd minute helped spur a comeback for the Flames. However, this final goal by Meredith Shoulder cemented the result as the Tar Heels escaped with a 6-4 victory in their regular season finale. The field hockey team's regular season is over, but the journey to the championship is just getting started. For more, let's bring in reporter Natalie Harden live from the team's temporary stopping grounds at Duke.
Abby, the field is set for the ACC tournament and play will begin Thursday in Louisville. With their 3-3 finish in conference play, the Heels will go into the tournament as the number 5 seed. Let's take a look at that bracket. In the opening round, Carolina faces off against number 4 seeded Wake Forest, a team the Heels lost to earlier this year 3-1. If they manage to avenge their deacons that is, the Heels will face the top seeded Virginia Cavaliers for a spot in the championship game. Carolina defeated the Hoos 4-0 earlier this year, so if the Heels can get past Wake, they have to feel pretty good about their chances. The Duke Blue Devils sit on the opposite side of the bracket, ranked as number 2. But if the rivalry meets in the middle for the championship game, that could have some special significance for senior Gab Major. They say blood runs thicker than water, but it doesn't run thicker than rivalry. Let's see what Elizabeth Singletary has to say.
UNC and Duke, one of the most heated rivalries in all of sports. Athletes put everything on the line to will their shade of blue to victory. But for two players, there's a special connection that extends beyond the rivalry: blood.
Up until high school, we were on every team together. It was fun. Our grandma was our first coach on our YMCA team.
UNC's Gab Major and Duke's Alyssa Chilano are cousins, both born and raised in Pennsylvania. They haven't always been on opposing teams. In fact, they were teammates for most of their lives, including high school. They attended Springford Area High School located 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia, where both were named All-Americans their junior year. But playing together in college wasn't a necessity.
We didn't want to go to the same school but not go to the same schools.
Yeah,
it was just kind of whatever.
It wasn't I want to be with her, I don't want to be with her. It was just wherever she ends up, great. Wherever I end up, great.
Yeah.
Major and Chelano are captains of their teams, and on October 20th, they got to face off for the 9th time as enemies. On the field, it's all business, for the most part.
Sometimes we say hi.
Yeah, we say hi and stuff.
Yeah.
I pushed her once.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, like that. Like, yeah. It gets competitive between our teams, but like it's always fun, and you know.
Yeah.
Heading into the game, Major held the advantage in the cousin rivalry with a record of 7-1 against Chelano. However, Chelano would get the upper hand on Major's senior night, scoring 2 goals off of corners to lead the Blue Devils to a thrilling 3-2 victory. Following the game, it was a quick hug for the cousins after what was perhaps their last game against each other. They could meet again in the championship game of the ACC tournament or the NCAA tournament, but for now, Major and Chelano will focus on leading their teams into the postseason for one last time. In Durham, I'm Elizabeth Singletary reporting.
Abby, Duke will face Boston College on Thursday, but if it comes time the Major family is split up coming to the championship game, that could cause for an awkward family Thanksgiving dinner. Back to you.
That's reporter Natalie Harden live from Duke University. Thanks, Natalie.
And when Sports Extra returns,
the football team has been showing its caring side off of the field.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
There's a lot that goes into being on the football team,
including something you might not know about. Our Jonah Lossie has the story. We apologize for those technical difficulties there, but for those of you who didn't get to see it, that was a package about football players visiting the hospitals, and I think that's such a great thing that even with these athletes' crazy schedules, they're still carving out time to help make a difference.
Peyton, I agree. I think it's really sweet when we see people who might not have as much time on their hands really try and make a difference in the community.
Oh yeah, and I know the kids there were definitely so happy to see it. So we'll hopefully try to get that for you. It might be posted on our Facebook page, so be sure to tune in there and we can have that story for you.
Peyton, do you spend any time volunteering?
I actually did. I worked at the hospital over the summer, 2 summers ago, and it was really great. I was kind of a candy striper, so I got to go in and help the kids, with magazines or coloring books. A lot of the parents needed some toiletry items because often they're there, for several days at a time. So, definitely a moving thing to be a part of, but I loved getting to kind of be a smiling face for them to see every now and then. So it was a great experience.
No, I agree. I spent some time at the vault at the animal shelter, so.
Oh, I bet that's great
I don't see too many athletes around there, but you never know. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
they might be their next visit. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.